As the new Pokemon Scarlet and Violet games have skyrocketed in popularity, the competitive format inside these games, VGC, has gained attention too. VGC is where instead of having one Pokemon on your side of the field, you have two. This can create instances where these Pokemon can help each other out to make broken combos such as Dondozo Tatsugiri. And then, what in singles is a simple game of musical chairs, in doubles, when two Pokemon come out on the field for each side, it may as well be more complex than chess. This is due to the ridiculous variation of 300 plus viable Pokemon, with each about 20 viable moves, and don't even get me started on the new gimmick Terastallizing. VGC for a new player can be quite overwhelming at times, and can nearly be impossible to navigate without some sort of guidance. But that's where I come in. In the next couple of months, I'll be teaching you guys how to go from noob to a professional Pokemon player. In this video, I'll be going over how to get started. I'll show you guys the 3 crucial websites you'll need to get better and more informed. I'll teach you guys how to make your first actual competitive VGC team and then win your first few games. The first website I'm going to show you is Picolytics. Picolytics shows the usage stats of the Pokemon used in VGC. If you click on a Pokemon, you can see its base stats, its moves, and the partners it is paired with. With this information, if you're ever confused on where to start team building, you can always just click on a Pokemon and see what moves it's using and what partners it's using and just copy them into Pokemon Showdown. Also, in battling, if you ever don't know what a Pokemon does, let's just say you see Gallade, you can always go onto the moves and look through them, have a good idea on what you should be looking out for. Now, if you are a beginner, I highly recommend looking through the top 15 most common Pokemon and looking through what each one does, what it's used for, and why they might be so common. Maybe no other Pokemon gets its move, or no other Pokemon can be used in the same way. The next website I'm going to be showing you is Victory Road. If you go to the top right and click Rental Teams, you can see what teams have been winning the most recent tournaments. And if you scroll down, you can go click on this icon and it will show you the whole team with moves, EVs, items, and all the Pokemon inside. And if you can't be bothered making your own team, you can always just go Command C, go to Team Builder, make a new team, Command V in the Import Export, and save. And then voila, you have the team all to yourself. Not only that, but you can also put them into Scarlet and Violet, as I know it's pretty hard making your first team in Scarlet and Violet, so you can always just go to the rental code section in the Battle Stadium online, put in the code, which would be WCG2S9, and you can just put that in for yourself. Lastly, I'm going to be showing you one called Maryland.com. And if you go down to the team builder, it shows you what you're weak to, and if you click advanced mode, it will also show you what you're offensively good against. And if you have a resistance for every single one of the types and a super effective move against every one of the types, then you should be set. Now we're going to go on to making your first team. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to the format and click VGC 2023 Series 1. This will allow you to play in the format when you go here and battle. There's so many Pokemon to choose from. So where do you start? Well, I've shown you Picolytics, and what you're going to do is you're going to pick one of the top 15 Pokemon. For me, I'm going to pick Armarouge because I think it's pretty interesting. And you're going to put it in and get the top and use the top moves and choose 4 of the top moves. Expanding Force, Armor Cannon, Trick Room, but we don't want to double up on coverage as this is already Fire type move. So we're going to go down and get Protect. Then you're going to go down to its teammates and choose 5 other Pokemon you're going to use with it. So I'm going to use Indeedee, Meowscarada, Sylveon, Torkoal, and Kingambit. Then, what you did with Armarouge to get the moves, you're going to do the same for them. But remember, you don't want to be doubling up on coverage or if you're running any of the items like Assault Vest or any of the choice items, you don't want to put any status moves. Now, status moves are if you go to categories and go to status, it's any of these. You don't want to be using them, as Assault Vest just straight up doesn't allow them, and Choice Band and Choice Scarf and Choice Specs gives you a 1.5 boost into their selected category, but you can only use the same move consecutively in a row, which means if you were to use Protect, which is a staple in VGC, and you put Choice Band on, that means you could only use Protect the whole time, which means you would never be able to damage a Pokemon. Now, finish the start of the team, and you might be wondering where you can find your items. And if you go to Twitter and go to VGC Pokeposts, he has a Google Sheet that has all of the teams that have been doing well in the format, and I'll put this in the description. So we want to find an Indeedee team with Armarouge, and here we go. So this Armarouge is using Life Orb with Terra Grass, and you're going to go through and find the rest of your Pokemon and find common items for them. So here we have Meowscarada. What Meowscarada set are they using? Well, they're using a Choice Band set, so we're going to put that on. And then with Sylveon, and then from there we're going to get and find its item. Now, a quicker way to do this is also just to go Command C, go to the Pokemon, go import, export, save it, and then you have the same Pokemon in your one without doing all the work. So you're going to do this for the rest of them until you have the team done. Now, when you're making EVs and IVs, when you're a beginner, I recommend just doing 252, 252, or you can also just go 252 HP, 252 in their attacking stat, and the nature, you're just going to click plus and minus to set it. Now, what natures do is they boost whatever you're plusing and they minus whatever you're minusing. So you usually want to put them into your attack stat and lower in your other attack stat. And if they're not speedy, I recommend just putting all the EVs into HP. Like this King Gambit, well, you can see it has a pretty low speed. We're just going to put the rest into HP and attack. Now, I'll go over advanced EVs in another video and how you can calculate to make sure you gain the most value out of them. So now you have your team. And before you're going to start battling, I want you to go to Maryland's Team Builder and put your Pokemon in. So Armarouge, Indeedee, once you put them in, you can go down here and it will show you all the weaknesses you have. Now, our biggest weakness is ground types. So when we're battling, we're going to focus down those ground types and make sure they get out of the game quickly. And we're going to bring our mons good against them. If you don't have any super effective moves against ground types, what you can do, and this is how I usually decide my Terra types, let's just say King Gambit, for example, you can either make it Terra type that resists it, or with Terra Blast, you can use that and maybe go Grass type and make something super effective against it. Alright, so now you've got the team, and you're going to go into your first battle. So, our first battle is against a Farigiraf, a Hariyama, Lurantis, a King Gambit, and a Lilligant, and a Torkoal. So, I have no idea what Lurantis is doing here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go Lurantis, and see what common moves it has. So Leaf Storm, Protect, Terra Blast, and Pollen Puff. Its common partners is Torkoal. As we can see, Torkoal's there. And those are its base stats. It seems pretty standard. Since we are also a Trick Room team, because I know that Farigiraf is Trick Room, we could probably bring out Trick Room mons. And so do they have a ground type, firstly? The answer is no. So what is good against us? We got to think in the opponent's mind. So what do they have that's good against us? Well, we're a bit weak to fire. We have a fire weakness, we have a fire weakness. So you could probably think they're going to bring Torkoal. They're going to bring Hariyama. They could. We have a King Gambit, and we also have a Meowscarada, which is also weak to that. Though they should bring the Kingambit, because what else do they have for Sylveon? Though we have to bring Armarouge and Meowscarada. Then we have to bring Sylveon and Torkoal. Now, the reason I did this is because we need something that resists fire. And Armarouge's ability, Flash Fire, makes it immune to fire types. Now, Hariyama probably has to fake out Meowscarada. And I know it has fake out because if you go here and I go Hariyama, the most common move it has is fake out. So I know what fake out does. It flinches your Pokemon. So who is he going to fake out? Well, it should be the most threatening Pokemon. The most threatening Pokemon for him should be Meowscarada. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch into my Pokemon. Yeah. And then try and get as much damage on that as possible. So now that I have Trick Room up, they're actually going to be faster than us. So if you don't know what a move does, you can always go here and search up Trick Room. You can see that for 5 turns, the turn order is reversed. So the faster Pokemon will always go slower. Alright, so we're going to do the same, Expanding Force, but actually we're going to Protect. I don't want this to be OHKOing my Sylveon with a move, and you might be wondering, why is Protect so good in VGC? Well, it stalls out a turn. And by stalling a turn, maybe you want to sacrifice a Pokemon to gain more momentum. So you want to switch the momentum back when using Protect to give yourself an advantage. And as you can see here, we were losing because he could have carried both of our Pokemon in the same turn. But by using Protect, we sacrificed our Armarouge to bring Torkoal in. And since our speed is slower than it, but in Trick Room it would be faster than it, we could get an Eruption off and then put the pressure back on them. The next Pokemon he has is Kingambit and Lurantis. Now, who's our most threatening Pokemon? And then we can choose who he's going to target down. Well, of course it's going to be Torkoal. So we should just target down Torkoal. And then we can use Hyper Voice to deal damage to Kingambit and Lurantis. We just survived, lucky us. Now, since he has Sucker Punch, it's probably alright just to Protect again and just Protect again. Because we don't want him to be KOing our Torkoal. We want him to put as much pressure on him as possible. Yet again, Sucker Punch and Leaf Storm. So now we get Heat Wave and Hyper Voice, but this time we have priority. And there you go. You've won your first game. And to win, you have to use Protect wisely. And position your Pokemon into positions where you can win. So, firstly, you go from lead, you see what's good for them, and then you can counter that with the Pokemon that you have. Then, if you don't know what a Pokemon does, you can go to Picolytics and search it up. After that, if they're ever putting too much pressure on you, you can always Protect and then bring a Pokemon out that's faster than them or does more damage than them, and then KO them before they can KO you. So what we did there to win, we just switched the momentum in our favour and then took the dub. Thank you for watching. I hope this has helped you. In the comment section, please tell me what you have been struggling with. This is going to be an ongoing series where I help you guys become better Pokemon players. Also, remember to subscribe if you've got this far and like the video. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.